Rev up your engines!
Motivational number says, Scotty, don't pay attention to all these haters on the internet. Keep being authentic and shout when you're talking. Don't listen to the negative critics. When I started, yeah, it kind of gets to you a little. That was 12 years ago. That people are insulting and stuff, but that's how the internet is. I look at it the logical way. Hey, I got over 2 million subscribers and 540 million views in my videos. I'm helping people out. I'm getting stuck with an endless money pit, or not getting ripped off, getting them repaired, or learning how to fix them themselves. So I've helped out so many people. I don't care that some people are negative. Nah, I'm sure a lot of them are other mechanics on the internet that, you know, they want to make a name for themselves, so they'll be putting me down. But it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm just out to help out as many people as possible. And I'm having a good time doing it. And the more people I help out, the happier I am. I figure the karma level's got to be basically really in my favor over how many people I've helped out versus how many people seem to be getting mad about stuff. But that's the internet these days, you know. It's a crazy place. It's not that easy to find great information, which is probably why so many people watch me, because they can see, hey, here's an authentic guy. He's not selling snake oil to people. He's telling it as it is, and that's what I keep on doing. I keep on doing. Who knows how long I'll be able to do it. Joshua 172, and Joshua says, opinions on an 01 BMW 330 Ci with a standard tranny. I'm looking to buy one with 70,000 miles. The guy's asking $5,200. BMWs tend to be endless money pits, period. Now, it's an older one, and they were better made back then. The guy can prove that it's really 70,000 miles. Now, I'm talking about a history of maintenance with mileage on it, not just 1 or 2 receipts. And it is a standard transmission. I have a customer with one, and he loves driving it around. Now, they're reasonably expensive to maintain. There's no arguing that. But the Achilles heel of that vehicle is the automatic transmission, and that's a standard transmission. If you want a toy like that, go ahead. Just don't buy a vehicle like that and think you're going to drive it every day and put 20,000 miles a year on it. It'll bankrupt you. But if you want a weekend toy to play around with, and it is a standard transmission, there are always people that when you get tired of it will buy it, because there's people that are looking for standard BMWs just for that reason. I've got a few customers left with them, and they like them, and they're toys. Zajama, does adding Lucas change the viscosity of your oil? Well, yes, of course it does. The old stuff is real thick, and that was fine for old engines. When I was a young mechanic, I already had V8 engines, and they were all push rod engines, and the thick oil was perfectly fine for those things. They don't have overhead cams, and it was for junky old cars that were wearing out, and you'd add it in, and it made it thicker. STP oil treatment, the same thing, thicker, and but the STP had molybdenum bisulfate, which is actually a very good lubricant. There is a new Lucas out there that's a lighter one for modern cars. You can use that if you got a modern engine that's worn out. But it's always going to change the viscosity somewhat, unless it's the same viscosity of oil in a car. And I mean, the modern cars, a lot of them use like a 0W10, which is a real thin oil. And you never want to put that thick one in. You can use the new one, it's made for that. But you don't want to put the thick one in any modern car. Fur. I got a 92 Lexus SC400 V8, no check engine light. It idles too high, and it smokes slightly if the engine's left for 15 minutes. I just worked on the same vehicle. You want to check the valve cover gaskets. They're very hard to change out because it's a V8 engine with very little working room. Most of the time on those, as old as it is, the valve cover gaskets are real thin little things anyways. You'll see oil dripping off the valve cover gaskets, touching the exhaust and smoking, and I would start there. And the only problem you're going to have is it's old. It's a 92. It's 27 years old. And when you start taking that apart, you're going to find there's a lot of plastic parts. They're just going to break off. When you try to get them out of the way, they're going to break off. That's just what happens, and you'll have to bite the bullet and replace the stuff that's plastic. Even if you pay a professional mechanic, an honest one like myself is going to say, look, that car's 27 years old. Stuff's going to break. I can't even give you a quote. I can tell you what the labor is for changing it, but I can't tell you what parts are going to break that are going to have to be replaced. That's just how it is when a car is that old. Wicked Son 95 says, I'm going to do burnouts on my automatic transmission. What if I put it in first, then second, and send the RPMs up, and then put it in drive like a manual? Most cars these days have all kinds of safety software so that you can't do burnouts and you can't destroy the transmission. Like years ago, if somebody was dumb enough that they were screwing around the car and they weren't going 30 or 40, and then they'd rip it in reverse from drive. It would destroy the transmission. A lot of them have it that they won't even go into reverse when you do that. The computer won't allow that to happen. So it really, they make the modern cars so you really can't do burnouts in them for safety reasons, and that they don't want the things to burn themselves out. I've had brand new cars that I just out of a kick tried to make them do burnouts. I couldn't. Even if I revved it up in neutral and slammed it in drive, it wouldn't, because the computer to realize what it's doing and to actually let everything engage. They're all run by computers now, and they have all kinds of software to stop that from. Probably a good thing too, you know.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.